Hey team, I'm Maddie. Welcome to Science Side Up, and today we're going to talk about some real life science through the field project of TORUS. Targeted observations with radar and UAS of supercells. So as many of you know, I am a graduate student at the University of Oklahoma, and I study the weather. I study meteorology. And sometimes being a grad student has some really awesome opportunities, like getting to participate in field work. Severe weather isn't actually my field, but a project on the scope of TORUS, which was huge and awesome and amazing, it just needs some extra people. My job on the project, by the way, you can tell I was really with the project because I have the t-shirt on. But my job, I was paired with a radar truck on the ground, and I actually had a separate car, and there was a few other guys in that car with me. And we would drive ahead of the radar truck to find good locations to deploy the radar, and then also scout the roads ahead of the radar truck to make sure that it could actually drive on them. So the truck it's big and it's tall and it's heavy. And so we would want to avoid, say, dirt roads if it had been raining, or make sure we could go under overpasses, things like that. And then when we wanted to deploy the radar, we needed to make sure that the radar truck could get completely off the road, so that we're being really, really safe, and that the radar dish has a clear view of the area that we want to scan. So TORUS is this absolutely amazing giant field campaign. It's funded by NOAA and the National Severe Storms Laboratory and the National Science Foundation. And it brings together the University of Oklahoma, Nebraska, Colorado, Texas Tech, as well as those separate entities. And we all come together to try to get really good data sets about supercells. So for those of you who might not be from the Midwest, a supercell is a type of thunderstorm that's really, really good at making tornadoes. So the purpose of this project, our overarching goal, is to get better data about supercells so that we can, in the future, make better forecasts for severe weather and those types of thunderstorms and tornadoes. So let's check out what a day of field work looks like. So, day one. We are about to take our motorcade caravan, if you will, from the National Weather Center up to Kansas to stage for some potential upslope supercell type behavior happening in the next couple days. So just a lot of driving today. Okay, this is day two. We are heading out to Syracuse, Kansas. We are still kind of not quite sure which system is going to be the best for collecting data sets. So we're trying to get ourselves staged for a later forecast run in the day. Say hi, everybody. See, this is Noah. We are currently in Garden City, Kansas, eating breakfast at our glorious, what hotel are we at? Are we at a Hilton?
We are at a Holiday
We are at a Holiday Inn Express here in Garden City. So what do you guys think we've got in store for us today?
Got an upslope. Yeah, upslope. So we're driving west.
Driving west. Excellent. Excellent.
Not too far.
Yeah.
We don't want to drive a whole lot.
Yeah, we want to drive all day. Noah, what do you think?
I'm happy.
You want to go to Colorado?
I just want to go to Colorado.
Okay. After breakfast, we go to our daily weather briefing, and these usually lasted about an hour. But what we're trying to do is by looking at kind of the latest forecasts, the most recent data available. We're trying to figure out where is the best place to go to get the best data sets. And since supercells, in terms of weather systems, or in terms of something, say, the size of Oklahoma, they are relatively small and they happen fairly quickly. So we need to make a decision earlier in the day about, hey, are we going to go for a play in, say, southeast Colorado, or do we need to go further south into the Texas Panhandle? And this day was a little tricky because there were two promising looking systems, one to the northwest of us and one to the southwest. So we weren't really sure which of those was going to be the best play. What we ended up deciding to do was just drive west and wait for a later forecast run to see if we couldn't get better information to make a more informed decision. So what I'm trying to tell you guys here is that we have parked our Armada just south of Campo, Kansas. But unfortunately, when there's lots of wind, your audio sounds like this. So yes, it turns out that when one is near a storm, there is a lot of wind. So future Maddie is going to go in and tell you guys what past Maddie was trying to say.
All right, so we've got our radar deployed. See how with the truck, those come down so it's nice and level and keeps the truck real sturdy.
So here, that storm we were looking at, it took a surprising sharp right turn and was coming pretty much straight at us. So I am trying to tell you guys that we are packing up our stuff and about to roll out to find a better spot to deploy the radar, and that I will check in with you whenever we are somewhere a little safer.
All right, hey team, so we are redeployed south of Boise City, Oklahoma, which is in the Panhandle. This is the storm, that dark, ominous thing over there that we're scanning. We are appropriately far south of it now. There's our truck doing its radar thing. Okay, so I do want to clarify something from earlier. We were needing to get out of where we were, not because we as like humans were in any danger, but our radar is a really, really expensive piece of equipment, and so we don't want to take any risks about even just like super strong winds or hail, right? That would be a problem. So I promise, like, a tornado was not bearing down on us or anything like that. When you're with the radar truck, you actually want to be pretty far away from any type of severe type of weather behavior. And the radar can scan for like a few hundred kilometers, so we can get really good data, stay out of danger, all that jazz. It's a good place to be. We are starting to get a little bit of rain here, so I'm gonna give you guys, try to take a good look at that behind me. And yeah, we're just gonna be here scanning, doing science, being awesome.
So that's what a day of fieldwork is like. It's a lot of driving around through the middle of nowhere. It's a lot of waiting around in parking lots and getting sunburnt while we wait for newer forecast runs to get a better idea of where to go. And then it's a lot of paying attention to the weather to make sure we don't break the radar, because I would have gotten in so much trouble. Now we're going to go talk to some of my friends, some of my fellow scientists and researchers, and they are going to tell us all about the different instruments that we have out in the field with us.
Okay guys, this is my friend Dr. Elizabeth Smith with her LiDAR that's going to spin really excitedly here in a minute. she's going to tell us about this part of TORUS.
So I'm operating what we call a Doppler LiDAR. And LiDAR stands for light detection and ranging. I'm going to duck so it doesn't laser me. So what we do is we actually use a laser. And this is an invisible laser, so sadly we can't see it, so no pew-pews. But what the laser does is it goes up and it hits all the dirt and the dust and the bugs and everything else that's out here in the clear blue sky. And with the laser, we can measure how fast all the dirt and the dust and the bugs move. And if we know how fast they move, we know how fast the wind's blowing. So with this, we can get information about the wind above our heads every few minutes. And that's really important in thunderstorms. So what I study as part of meteorology is the boundary layer meteorology. And what that means is I'm studying the very lowest part, the lowest 1,000 meters or few thousand feet, the part that we live in every day. That's important because that's one, the part that affects us, but also because it's the part that interacts with the Earth's surface. That's where all the friction is happening, all the boiling pot, the convection from the surface, it's where all that originates. So understanding the boundary layer lets us understand the whole depth of the atmosphere.
That's awesome. Okay, is there anything else you want to say?
Science is cool.
Science is cool. All right, guys, so we're back with Noah, and he is going to tell us about his mobile mesonet truck.
Yeah, so this mobile mesonet truck also serves as a vehicle to launch weather balloons really anywhere. And we do this really away from any storms to get an idea of the things like the temperature, the moisture, humidity profiles, and the wind profiles in the surrounding environment to storms. So actually what we have here are helium tanks. We need to inflate these weather balloons, which we have right here with helium, so they rise. And we attach instruments called radiosondes to these balloons. And these really just give us a vertical profile or vertical measurements of the atmosphere. Things like temperature, wind speed, and direction, and humidity as well. And in order to do that, we actually need to input the temperature and relative humidity and wind speed and direction at the ground. And that's what we use the mobile mesonet for. This, again, obviously we see an anemometer, or something that measures the wind speed and direction. Also see a thermometer, something that measures temperature, and then also measures dew point and relative humidity as well.
Is there anything else you would like to share?
Here's all our clothes. Because sometimes we can get pretty smelly in the car because we're stuck in here for a long time during some longer events. So yeah, it can get pretty smelly. So it's important to bring extra clothes.
Nice.
As well as just supplies.
Okay team, I am here with my good friend Rachel, and Toby has decided he wanted to be part of this interview too. And Rachel's been out with us on TORUS, but she wasn't with the main group.
I was actually up in one of the aircraft associated with TORUS called the NOAA P3, which is also the same plane that flies into hurricanes during the summer and fall, so they let us borrow it for TORUS.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. So what were you guys doing with the plane that we couldn't get from the ground?
So one of the nice things about the plane is on the back of it, there's actually a radar, two radars actually, on the tail.
Okay.
And they both spin around really fast. And so we fly these legs right next to the storm. And so that way we can measure the winds and the rain and all of that at 2 different times.
Okay.
So we can see what the winds look like both in the vertical and horizontal. So we get sort of a full view of the supercells.
Do you have a favorite part from being out in the plane?
So my favorite part was probably when we flew by and we could see the land spout from the plane.
Ooh.
So everyone started yelling, "Oh, we can see a land spout!" So we all unbuckle our seats. The pilot actually flipped off the seatbelt sign so that people could get up and go take pictures. So there's a bunch of us pressed up against the window taking pictures and videos. So that was really cool.
How many of you were there? How many of you were there on the plane?
I think we had a crew of 13 people that day.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So was there how was that divided? Scientists to airplane people?
So there was only 4 scientists on that particular day. So there was
Okay.
myself, my advisor, Conrad Ziegler, and Kim Elmore, and they're both with NSSL. And then there's another scientist who was operating a downward pointed LiDAR.
Okay.
So what you talked about with Liz Smith,
yeah.
we have one of those on the plane that points down.
So that's what we were out doing. Those were our instruments. So TORUS the whole project was for a month long, and then it'll actually be another month next summer. And it was through the last couple weeks of May and then into the first couple weeks of June. So if you're looking for tornadoes, tornadic supercells, May is really, really your sweet spot. Once you're getting into June, the environment is less favorable to the formation of tornadoes. So most of the supercells that we sampled were non-tornadic supercells. And those are still really important to sample because we need to know, well, why does this supercell make a tornado but this one doesn't? Now, just from me, from a wanting to see cool stuff point of view, I was hoping to see a few tornadoes, and I was starting to get worried that we wouldn't until this day. Hey guys, so we're on our second storm of today, and this one developed kind of quickly, and we're not really sure what it's doing. We would like it to make a right turn. Okay, so we're getting reports of some strong low-level rotation directly west. Low-level rotation is one of the ingredients that you're going to need for a tornado. And so let me just show you guys. This is what I'm looking at. This is what we've got. So this is radar and the location of everybody in our team, and then a chat on the side. And you're not going to be able to read that, but I am going to keep you in the loop of what we got going on. But in the meantime, I'm going to point this towards the storm because it's way more interesting to look at than I am. So this is the supercell that we're sampling, and one of the nice things about being in the scout car is that, as you can see, the radar is scanning, it's doing its thing. So I had some time when I didn't need to be working that I could take some nice footage like this. But oh my goodness, look how beautiful that supercell is. That is just gorgeous. There's been one land spout tornado already, but we'll see. We'll have to see if this storm kind of collapses on itself or develops and starts doing something interesting. So there are 2 tornadoes. Those are both land spouts. The one to the right is the first one, and it's kind of starting to die. The one to the left is a newer one, and it's just starting to grow. So this is the local sheriff. He came out to hang out with us because we were at a pretty good vantage point to see the storms while still being a safe distance away. We're probably 20 miles from those 2 tornadoes. So as far as tornadoes go, land spouts tend to be pretty weak. And like I said, we were about 20 miles away from these, so we weren't overly concerned. We were definitely keeping an eye on the weather. And then we started to get some more rotation like this. This looked really cool, but I was starting to get a little nervous. And then we took a look at the radar, and the radar was starting to get more of a tornadic type signature. And then look at all the rotation we have in this supercell. That's just, I can't believe I got this footage. I think it was really, really beautiful. And then this is the radar from that point. And what we're seeing in this image is what's called a hook echo. This is a classic signature for a more severe type of tornado. So at this point, we made the decision that we needed to get the radar out. We were on dirt roads, and we were concerned that if we waited, then there would become rain and those dirt roads would turn to mud and we couldn't get the radar out. So that storm produced 2 more tornadoes, and not landspouts this time, much more traditional tornadoes when you think of a tornado. I don't have any photos or footage of those because when the storm produced those, I had to be doing my job of helping the radar truck navigate. But luckily for you all, some of my fellow researchers snapped these absolutely beautiful images of the storm and of one of those tornadoes. Photo credits are in the description. So yeah, that day was really exciting. We saw some really beautiful storms, and we collected some really great data. That day was definitely my favorite day out of the whole project. We did some really cool science. Also, there's some pigs loose at the LiDAR, so I think that's gonna muck up their research a little bit today. Okay guys, that's all I've got for you today. I hope you liked this video. I hope you learned something about what being a scientist can look like, that we don't all wear lab coats. Also, a very special thank you to Dr. Liz Smith, Rachel Miller, and Noah Brewer for letting me interview them. And thank you to all the guys with me in the radar truck. Chris, Tyler, Nate, you guys are cool. And thank you for putting up with me filming every half a minute. And thank you to all of my subscribers. Now that I am over 100, I can post longer form videos like this. So you guys really help me make this happen. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button down below. Give me a like if you liked this. And let me know in the comments what you thought or what you'd like to see in future videos. Okay, team. I will see you all later. Toby would like you to know that links to the TORUS homepage are in the description below, along with photo credits and credits for the music for this channel. He would also like you to know that he is an excellent Toby.